Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk about how to convert a data series, right, that is in minute interval from minute interval to the hourly interval or any interval. You can even convert the data if you have any time series in a minute, the interval of time series in a minute, and you want to convert it to 5-minute interval or 15-minute, 30-minute or hourly, even daily or monthly. So how can you do that? If you have a lot of files, right, in a directory, you have a lot of time series files and you want to convert it to hourly time series. So how can you do that? So in Python, we can quickly do that. We can even write a few lines and we'll loop through the entire directory, and then we'll convert the entire data frame. We'll read the CSV file. If it is in CSV, if it is in text, not a problem. So we can read those files and we can convert all together, right? We can do that. So let me just quickly show you how to convert the time series that is in minute and convert that time series from minute to hour or even day or month or any series. We can do it. So I'm going to show you using a Jupyter notebook. So at first I'm just opening a new Jupyter notebook here. I think I already have that. Let me quickly open one new. Okay, so here if you just use Jupyter notebook, so we can open a new one in Python 3, or maybe it is not working, or let me check. Or I can close it, no problem. Even I can show you how to open the Jupyter notebook from the beginning as well. So, okay, from your command window, you have to activate your virtual environment if you have. Otherwise, if your environmental variable is already connected to your Python environment and your Jupyter notebook is there, then it will automatically open that. But for my case, I have created one virtual environment. So let me just open the virtual environment conda and then activate. I have that name. So I'm going to activate my virtual environment first, and then I'm writing Jupyter notebook. Okay, Jupyter notebook. Then it will open the Jupyter notebook in a new browser. So it's starting, and here's the browser. So anywhere, so in my download directory, I'm gonna open a new code. Okay, so here, so that will be, I'm just kind of writing a comment that what we're gonna do here. So it is a or make, okay, make hourly series from minute series. Okay, so that is our goal, and I'm just making it as a markdown. So here what I have to do, I have to import some module, right, and then we'll loop through each of these directories and we'll convert. So let me show what are the data I have. So I have the data here, SOS, wind, TS time series. These are the SOS data, automated surface observing stations. These are basically the stations that measure wind speed and pressure for the airport. So we have this station name, and let me just open one file and see what we have. So we have time. See, we have time like minute, 1 minute, and we don't have even a specific interval. These intervals are irregular. So if I want to calculate the validation statistics, right, so what I have to do, I have to calculate I have to make a series that has a regular interval, like either it is a 5-minute interval or a 15-minute or even hour or day, whatever it is, but the interval should be regular. But here we don't have a regular interval. It is haphazardly measured data, because these are the automated measurement. So because of that reason, we have this type of time interval. So in order to analyze our data set, time series data set, what we have to do, we have to make the data. These are called pre-processing. So we have the latitude and longitude, because it is the same for every time and step. These are the latitude and longitude for that station, and we have the wind speed in, see what is K, SK and NT, means these are in knots. Okay, the wind speed is for wind speed, means speed in knot, K-N-O-T. So we have to convert it to even meter per second. If you just roughly multiply by 0.5, that will convert to meter per second. So this is in knot. So we have that wind speed. So what we have to do, we have many files, right? We have many files here. For example, here we have 14 files. You may have 100 and 1,000 files, not a problem, but all these files are in same format, right? At the beginning, the first column is nothing but date time. Second one is longitude, latitude, but main focus for this tutorial is to convert this time series. And yeah, the way we'll do it will convert even entire data frame. Okay, it will convert the entire data frame, not a problem. So here we have our I'm just copying that directory, because here we have our directory. We'll loop through this directory, and at first what I'm assigning here, input. Okay, input, every time you have to just assign input dir is equal to, you have to put the directory inside that. Okay, double quotation, or you can use even single quotation as well. I prefer to use /. You can use /, then you have to use R. I don't want to do that. And what you have to do, you have to import some module like import pandas, okay, pandas as PD, because these are the CSV file. We are going to read this file and then we'll convert it to, right, hourly series. So we're going to import that. If you want to plot, and then yeah, we'll compare, right? Because once you have that series, it will be different than your minute series to hourly series, right? So that's why you can compare, right, how it looks like. So that's why you may need to import Matplotlib as well. Okay, so we can import from Matplotlib, from matplotlib.pyplot. We are importing import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. That would be good. Okay, import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. So that is a shortcut. And yeah, if you want, you can even import OS operating system. So that will also help us to even renaming files and any operation that we need to do. Yeah, we can do that. Okay, so what do you have to do? I'm just running and see in my input directory, it's there listing. So I have to go inside that input directory. How can I do that? I have to change the directory. So the change dir will give us that option. Okay, so that's why we need that OS, right? OS dot change dir, that will OS dot change dir, and you have to specify the directory. Okay, that will give us that location of the directory. So if I use that command, so I'll be directed to that directory, and once I'll be inside that directory, I can loop through each of these files. And if there are other files as well other than CSV file, so we can specify, okay, just loop through only the CSV files. So how can we do that? We can loop through a for, right? We can use for loop. So for file name, okay, because these are the files we have. For file name in OS, we're just listing the files in that directory, list dir. You can use this command once you are changing your directory and you are inside that directory, so you don't need to use that input here. Or you can directly, yeah, as before we used that while I was showing the how to rename the files. So then you can use even directly that one. So I prefer to use this. At first I just change my directory to that directory where I want to do operations, right? I want to read files from that directory, and I use this command. So file name in os dot list dir. Okay, and then this for loop, so we have to use this one. So then we have to use this command. Yeah, sometimes you may skip this one if you have only CSV file. If file names, okay, if file name and each of this file name, if file name dot ends with what? If file name ends with CSV, right? Dot CSV. If each of these files ends with dot CSV, then I'm just printing. Okay, I'm printing if it is working or not. Print file name. Let me check first if it is working or not. So yeah, it's working. It is giving me the file names. So once I have the file name, what I can do, I can even read. How can I read that? Okay, I have the data frame D. I'm specifying as df. Okay, df is equal to pd dot read underscore CSV. In order to read any CSV file using Python, you have to use the panda, right? These pandas, and since we are importing pandas as PD, we are using PD, and then from PD we are using that method read underscore CSV, and then you have to specify your argument, right? So we are passing that file name, we are reading this file name, and we're assigning the first column as index. Okay, we're assigning that one. So index underscore call, that will be 0, means the first column, because it is the 0 based indexing system in Python. And then I'm assigning, since this is basically date, so I'm assigning, or I'm the parsing date as true. Okay, so that's that. And now I can print. Okay, I can print the data frame as well, df. So it will read each of these files and it will just show you the header, right? See, it's done. It's reading and it's printing, but it's printing that time step, right? So these are in 1 minute or irregular interval. What we have to do now, we have to create another data frame where we'll have hourly series. So the time step will be in hourly, and then the variable, all of these variables, that will be converted to the hourly series. So how can you do that? So it is pretty simple for any data frame. So that is the command. Okay, I'm assigning another data.df, and I'm just assigning, okay, I have that data frame df, and you have to use that resample command. And if you use hour, that means it is the hourly. If you need to convert from that minute interval to 5 minute, you can use 5t. Okay, if you need 10 minute interval, you can use 10t, or if you need even 15 minute, you can use 15t. If you need a 30 minute interval of data, you can use 30t. Okay, so that is the condition, we can use that. But for this case, I'm gonna use hour, so I'm using hourly data. Okay, here, and then I'm using what? Mean, since we are just taking average, right? It is not precipitation. If it is precipitation, then, or rainfall, what we need to do? We need to sum them up. So then we would use sum, different command. So I'll show you in different tutorial that one. So for this one, we need this hourly average value of this wind speed, or even rainfall, or even any data that is based on the average. So that's why we're using that. If you use this command and if you don't specify any specific column, so it will do the operation for entire data set. So for this case, we need to convert the entire data set into hourly series. Okay, so now if I just print again the new data set, right, data underscore df, and we are printing both. We don't need to print the, okay, printing the file name, then it will print the original file, and then it will convert it to hourly series, and then it will print that. But now it is only printing, but we are not gonna even save that file. Later on we have to save that file if you want to save it, because ultimately we need to save it, right? It is only showing us that. See, at first it is printing the file name, it is looping through the directory. Here it is looping through the directory, and then it is printing the name of the file, and it is printing the original file, and then, right, see, it is this date and that values, but here it is printing the hourly series for that specific. See, the time step is 2018, 9 and 10, it is 0, 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then it is changing the date and time and everything, and it already it's converted. The values are not even same anymore because it averaged over that entire 60 minute. So that is the way. Now we have the data frame. Now what we have to do, we have to save this data. You can replace everything in that directory, but it is not convenient. You can create a new directory, right? I just use this command usually. If I wanna even, okay, let me just create another cell here. So at first you have to, okay, specify a new directory. In my download directory, I'm using that path, and I'm specifying, okay, this is my output directory by this file name. So it will join this path using os.path.join, and this one with that name. I'm giving this name, and then it's checking if this name is not there. If it exists, then it won't create any folder or new directory. Otherwise, it will create. So for this case, it will check there is no directory by that name. Let me just show you quickly. Right, in my folder, see, there is no name like SOS WinTS hourly. So it will create one, and then it will save all these files, right, the hourly series inside that folder. So that is our main objective. And let me just show you how to do that. We can save that way. Okay, we can use this one, but what will be the name of the file? You can use the same name, right? We don't need to change the name. We can use the same name here, or you can even create. You can split the name, the main file name, and you can add new name. That is also possible. Anything is possible here. We can create new name, right? I have one video that can demonstrate how to rename our directory, entire directory. Even we can do that sometimes, right? Or how can we do that? Usually I do it like that way. Whatever file name I have, I can split that. I can split that using this command, file name and file extension. So it will split, since we have the file name like 7w6. So the first part will be file name and the extension will be .csv. And now I'm creating new name using the file name first part, and even you can add like this one. Okay, you can even add another string if you want, right here. So the first part, I'm assigning that 7w6, and here I'm assigning like another. Okay, what I can assign here, hourly. I'm passing another string that, okay, hourly. So it will add hourly, but before that I'm gonna add one underscore. So the file name will be like 7w6 underscore hourly.csv. So it will save the hourly series that way. Okay, so now I can use new name here instead of the original name. So it will save all these files. It will loop through each of this file, and then it will convert, right, this minute series to the hourly series. Then it will save that series in a new directory called SOS Wind hourly series. Let me just quickly run the code and we'll see. And if it's done successfully, I'm printing, right? Okay, I'm printing another command. That's what I do usually, that the conversion, okay, conversion has been done successfully. So once you have that message, that means you know the code, it ran successfully, and then you have all these files. So that's what I do. Let me just run it. Yeah, we have, see, or we have mismatch here. So it's showing we have some error. Where it is locating the error in line number 6, we have this line number 6, and the problem is here. It is showing the file extension. Okay, this file extension, because we didn't put comma here, that is the problem. Okay, so now if I run it, so that's why you have to be able to read the error. So it is printing everything, I think. Oh, and then in 11, okay, we also have output dir is not defined, because we use output dir here, but here we are using different thing. Okay, in line number 11, see, output dir and new name. So we are saving that data.csv west.path join output d. Oh, because we didn't run this. Okay, that's why it's not there. So if I run it, that means the output d is there, and I think it's already created that. See, we already have that folder here, but it is empty. If you run everything all together, then it will create all time. That's why I run this code most of the time in my Linux machine, and now I'll have one single code and then it will run one by one. But in Jupyter Notebook, since I'm testing, so I can just run the code cell by cell, and I can see what is happening, and based on that I can just, so that is the first preliminary stage of writing any code using that cell by cell, and you can see what are the output, and you can change your code. Once your code is ready and your expectation is okay and you are satisfied with that, then you can just put all together and you can run at once. You can put all these things in a single cell and you can run it. So now everything is ready. If I run this code, it will just convert and it will save everything there. See, it's done successfully. At the end you will get the message, yeah, conversion has been done successfully. And if I open that, as you see, I have that by this name. It added underscore hourly. If I open that, see, I have that same data set, right, but it is in hourly series, right? And you can now plot. For plotting, you can even loop through each of these directories. I have another tutorial, that loop through each of this directory, right, each of these directories, and plot altogether, compare with observation and simulation. So here, even what is actually happening, if you wanna even see, okay, that is my file. So if I just want to plot all this together, that okay, plot the time series that is in minute and plot the hourly series, right, on the same graph paper. So then you will see the difference. Okay, so for that one, I'm just quickly copying my entire code I have. So here, when it will loop through each of this file, then I'm just, so that is the comment. If you use that pound sign, so I'm assigning, okay, plotting the observation wind, I'm assigning subplot paper size as before, like A4 size, and I'm assigning also the grid. And here I'm just plotting the main data, okay, the DF, the original data set, and I'm assigning the column. Which column? Let me show you the original data set where we have the wind speed in knot, right? So in Python, that is the index, so that's done. So that will be 0, that will be 1, that will be 2. So if you assign column number 2, so that means it is specifying this column. Okay, so what we are doing basically here, we are just assigning column number 2, right? We're assigning column number 2. And why I'm using this part, but what I'm doing here, I'm just doing nothing but this one, df and third bracket, and I'm assigning that value sknt, right? So in order to extract, because I don't need to even write it manually, that is called hard coding. I'm not gonna do that. So whatever the name of the column, I'm just assigning by the column number. That's why I'm using this formatted string here. Okay, I'm assigning this, so it is same thing. Okay, I'm assigning, okay, I'm reading that header using this formatted string. So df.columns means it will give you the all this list of column name, and since I know the column with index number 2, it will be that wind speed, so it will read, so this part will read that sknt, and it will put inside that bracket, means it will be like this, and then it will plot. And why I'm multiplying by 0.5144, because that is in knot, so I'm just plotting this in the meter per second, so that's why it is this. So that is the original file. Okay, it will plot, and I'm just plotting again the hourly series. So the what is the data frame of hourly series? It is data and underscore df, right? So now I'm plotting that, since I assigned this axis here, so ax.plot and data df and also the index, because the x-axis will be the index and the time, dead time. And similarly, I'm even calling the same, it is also the same, because it will be the same format, but the value will be in hourly series, right? And it is also in not, so I'm converting it to meter per second. You can exclude that as well, it is not a problem. And this color will be blue, and then I'm assigning the legend, right? The first one is minute series, the second one is the hourly series, and it will show you the legend in one column, right? And then you will find the best location, and it will put this legend. And then I'm assigning, okay, my X level is time, dead time, and the Y level is wind speed in meter per second, right? So in order to display everything here, so what do you have to do? You have to even assign that command. So it is nothing but % matplotlib inline. Okay, so if you use this column matplotlib inline, that means your matplotlib will be inline and it will plot everything right on this output. So that is the command, and let me run it if it works really. So PLT is not defined because see, we didn't even specify PLT. It is PLY. You have to specify PLT. So let me run from the beginning. PLT, because I use PLT there, and that directory, and if I run it, see, title is not defined because title is there. Okay, we have the title here. I use the title. So here in the title I can use specifically, because I use the variable title. Now I'm using only general title. Okay, that wind series. Okay, wind series. So that will be the title for everything, but previously I specified the name of the title using, or I can even use the variable title as well, no problem. So as before, Control G, title now is variable. So I'm creating the title for each of this file name this way. When I create a new file name, I create the title name as well. Plot of hourly wind during that storm Florence at that station name. Okay, it will split first and it will put only the station name excluding the .csv part, then it will assign. So here see, there is nothing. Okay, let me just plot, then you will see how good it is. See, it is reading, looping through each of this. So it's plotting, and you can see I'm just extending. So the gray one is the 1 minute time series, and the blue one is the hourly series. So definitely the blue one is the average hourly, but the 1 minute is basically the cost. That's why it is more it's varying, right? But the hourly series is not varying that way. For the second one, see, it is also so that's why it like that way. And see the title, plot of hourly wind during Florence at this. It is changing the name of the station. Whatever the name of the station, it is changing, and title is also changing. So that's why I use the variable title name, and that is the conversion. Here you can see wind, 1 minute wind, it is just changing frequently, right? But the hourly wind, it is stable. So the analysis of hourly wind is more convenient. That's why we're just converting. So this is how we can see here, and it converted everything and it plotted. So that's why whenever I do something, I use to plot everything so that I can see what is actually happening. So that is the idea I generally implement, right? So this is how you can convert to even daily series. If you use daily, it will be converted to daily series, and then you can even convert to monthly series. Okay, in the next tutorial I'll show how to convert from like hourly to minute, or from 6 hourly data to just a 60-minute series or even 30-minute series. Sometimes we need because we may have data, right, daily data. So from daily to hourly, how can you convert that? So you have to be able to even convert that. You have to interpolate either by using linear interpolation or by using the cubic interpolation, right? So we'll do that in the next tutorial. But until then, that's the idea, and it is not that pretty hard, right? It's pretty simple. We're just looping through each of these directories. We're just creating one new directory where we're gonna put everything there, the new hourly series, and then we are just checking if our file names are ending with CSV or not. If it is that, ending with CSV, it will read that file, and we are using Panda to read this CSV file, and then we are just assigning, okay, the first column is date time, so that is the index, and we are parsing the date time, and then we are just converting using resample. So our code is done up to this point. So only this portion is only for plotting purpose. Okay, so that's that. Yeah, so you can try by yourself. Sometimes this is very important and necessary. Whenever we have this type of data, we need to even create hourly average, even 15-minute interval, because the observation data, sometimes if you want to download the no observation, this no observation data set are in 6-minute interval, and if you have your simulation in like 1 minute or 10 minute, so you have to be able to convert, right? Your time series should be the same, the time interval should be the same, otherwise you can't even calculate the validation statistics, right? Like RMSE or even the correlation coefficient, we have to have the same time interval. So that's why you need to even convert using the best interpolation method or averaging method or system. So this is how we can convert. That is one way. There are other way as well. So yeah, so you can use that. That will be, I think, helpful for your research or your study as well. So thank you very much for watching this video. Stay safe until then, until next tutorial as well.